Okay, so let's start with putting a little bit of dirt underneath all of our grass, because this is a more substantial mountain, right? It's more in the foreground. It's in the middle ground, closer to us than the background. So we're going to just put some of that color as a base. Give it substantial presence. And we're going to rub it all in. Okay, so that was a brown. And if you don't have this exact brown, that's okay. Any kind of medium brown would do nicely. I want to rub it in. Our fingers get so dirty. Just kind of rub it in. And then I'm going to start putting my greens and grays on top to give it some depth. Now, we actually have trees, we have groups of trees really that we see in our picture. So I'm going to shade where there's groups of trees on this mountain. Kind of like a shadow at the base of the group of trees. And then I'm going to put the tree clump on top of that. That's kind of those tree clumps. You see that? Kind of gives them a little bit of dimension when you have a shadow underneath the tree. So we've got, and then we have some that look just kind of like they're so packed tightly together that they just look green. You just see the top of the trees. We can just color those in. Those are the tops of the trees. And there's just a little bit of bumpiness with the tree texture. You can kind of do some of those tree tops. But we're going to fill all that brown in. We don't want to see the brown. We just know that it's underneath, giving us that dark quality. So I might do these clumps over again so we can see them better. Because we're just covering this thing with dark green. Oh, I'm going pretty low, aren't I? Now, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to shape, give that little shape of the lighter green area right there. So I want to fill this in. Okay, my shadows got lost. I'll redo them in a little while. Okay, so let's just rub this in. See if we can make them look like fuzzy trees everywhere. Trees, trees, all over the place. Nice green place. Albert loved the outdoors, Albert Bierstadt, and don't we all? We love the trees and the greenery. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of this green in here. Maybe we should cover up that brown. Just get it a little on the green side. Okay, then I'm going to bring my bright green in. My brightest green. I'm going to put that spot of green in there, the grassy area. Maybe one of you could draw a little deer in there, Albert Bierstadt style, when you have the chance at the end. Put some little deer or little sheep in there. So that's kind of a grassy area. And then we're going to go back with our dark grayish, not quite black. I might want to use black actually. Let's try the black. And I want to get a little bit of shadows here. Again, I'll put those back in. Kind of like around the tree lines. There were some bunches of trees that kind of stood out. And let's see here. There's a little bit more contrast when we have the land that's closer to us. And down here, we'll do this part later because we're going to put in those foreground trees. Okay, and I might put a little bit of peach as well to lighten it up and make it look like it's got maybe some wildflowers in there. Okay, and let's rub these black edges in a little bit. Just a touch of rubbing so they just blend in a little better. And maybe we'll do more later, see how it looks. Or we might cover it up because it looks kind of rough. But it's heading towards where we want to go. Now this side is a little bit closer than this. So we're going to have even more of that black, dark green shadowing with the treetops being bright. So I'm going to try a new thing and put this peach as our base. See what that would look like. We might still need some brown to make it rich and dark. I just want a little bit more yellowish. It's kind of our mid-ground. And I'm going to do some green grass under our trees. Yeah, looks like I do need to put a little bit of brown because it's just going to not fit in if it doesn't have the same deep value as this mountain area. Right? It needs to have the same kind of it's like, what's this lady doing? All these scratchy things. Well, that's just sketching, right? Just trying out different things. Board is moving. I'm so vigorously rubbing it. Maybe need a little bit more. Okay. Now, I'm going to do those green trees. I'm going to start with the medium color of green. And I'm just going to make some bushy things just everywhere because I do need a little bit more detail for my bushiness of these trees because it's definitely closer, so I need more details. I want the shape of the trees a little bit. This is not perfect, but it's just a sketch. Okay, and so we're just going to keep adding bunches of trees. And there's actually some dirt and ground sticking through. And that's okay, because in our picture we can see that that really happens when we have trees sticking out. So I have just one color here, but I'm going to add different green as well. Kind of squiggly. And maybe we'll just have a little beach. Okay, a little bit of sandy beach. Blend that in a little. And let's start with some of the darker grays, the shadows underneath the trees. See if we could get some shadowy spots. Let's put some of this lighter green treetops right on top of our trees. Kind of time consuming drawing so many trees, but you've got to be patient and realize when you're all done, you say, hey, where did all those trees come from? It was all that hard work I put into it. Pays off. See that light green is contrasting a little bit with the darker green behind, because these are the lighter trees in the mid-ground. And we might even make these, we might want to make these lighter so that it seems farther away, right? Or else I need to make these darker. They need to contrast where we have the lighter greens, I should say the more saturated greens in the front, and then the higher values, whitish greens, are farther in the back. Oh, this is a lot of work. Whew. But it's starting to come together, starting to look like trees a little bit. All right, so we'll go back and fix that. Add a little more depth and dark colors. Maybe we'll do it now. I'm just going to try gray again. A little bit more gray in here. Where I see the browns, they seem kind of like they're popping out a little bit. These light. Maybe I'll add brown. No, that looks good. I'm going to cover up those browns with the gray shadows. And makes it kind of blend in a little better. I'll leave my beach light, and we'll figure that out once we do the river.